Muscle Up, Big Herc 916, and tune in to my car channel where I talk about nothing but cars. Man, 2025, year starting off great. I got the wig splitter Porsche home, and she's running like a young tiger. She's purring, and I'm so happy. Shout out to Cooper Automotive. If you guys are looking to do a motor swap, whether it be an LS or a Chevy, holler at me. I got some guys out here in Arizona that can get the job done. They are great with the mechanics. They can wire your car up right, and these guys will explain everything. They're not shysters trying to get over, trying to work you for every dollar, con you out of your passion. They will work with you, and they're good dudes, and I will put my name on the line for this shop. They will be doing the work on all my cars in the future, and they got my car running how it should have been running years ago. And I wish I would have met them sooner, but you know how the laws of nature work. But better now than whatever. So I'm happy that I am connected with these guys now, because having a good mechanic is like having the right doctor. The right doctor will have your health on point, and the right mechanic will have your cars running properly. These guys also work on my other cars, my Mercedes, and I'm gonna be bringing them my Chevelle and everything else once I get them all home. And the Chevelle will be home very soon. Oh, man, I gotta move the car one more time and then go pick them up, and I will be bringing them home. But I will be doing a lot of videos with that car also. But back to the wig splitter Porsche. You see, we had to cut the cutout for the hood for the air cleaner when the new motor went in. The new motor mounts went in, which raised the motor because it was sitting on the undercarriage, so it was kind of rubbing. Whenever I hit a bump, it would kind of rub the oil pan. So now I have a clearance, so I don't have to worry about the oil pan getting a hole pushed into it. So I have clearance underneath the car with the oil pan. The motor had the result system higher, so they had to modify the hood. And I got some ideas. I got some stuff I'm gonna be working on the hood, some body stuff. So I'm gonna probably alter the hood so we'll have a cover on it eventually. But actually, I went to a car show, and some of the guys said it was cool to see the air cleaner sticking out the hood. So it worked out. The car, like I said, runs good. People wonder, is it worth it to engine swap certain cars? I've had motor swaps on a bunch of different cars. All my cars, old schools, my personal cars have been pretty much motor swapped. The Chevelle has an LQ9. This car has a 350. And people are like, why didn't you put an LS in the Porsche? Well, it's a long story, and I think I told it before that I was gonna LS this car, but I got ripped off. And so I ended up going with this 350 as a result. And actually it was a different 350. That 350, I believe when they put it in, the clearances were off. So eventually, as it heated up and expanded, cooled, heated up, expanded, cooled, it started rubbing against the piston walls, the pistons. So the cylinders, it started getting metal. There was metal in the oil, so that motor and it kept having problems. The motor would it wouldn't turn over. It was hard to turn by hand. It was just eventually the bottom end took a shit. So there were some good parts in there, but the motor only had $3,000 as far as miles. It didn't last. The money I put in there, you don't even want to know. So this motor right here was something that didn't take a lot to swap over. I didn't have to go a bunch of ECU stuff with the LS and all that. And I'm like, you know what, I had just bought a carb, I had just put a cam and all this stuff in the other motor, so it was easier to kind of just go 350 rather than go a bunch of EFI stuff. And dump a bunch of more money. I mean, I had to, pay to have the motor put in, but the LS swap would have been a little bit more expensive, even though it would have been a little bit more power. But this car is kind of like my test mule for future 928 builds. I'm kind of seeing if I want to go in the direction of marketing this body kit. This is a one-off body kit. I was designed by me and my buddy, and it was something that I had in my head, and my friend kind of helped me realize that. He kept playing with it, made it wider, and I wanted something that kind of flowed with the lines. I don't want any rivets, but my ultimate goal with building this car was to use it as kind of like the test car to see if I was going to do these body kits and do custom 928s. I know there are people out there doing a bunch of 911s, air cooled. People are doing 992s, 996s. There's a lot of custom Porsche cars out there. People are starting to do the 914s. Well, I love the 928s out of all the Porsches. I mean, I like the 911s too. I like the 914s, the 944s, but the 928, I've had a couple of them. So this is kind of like my go-to platform. I like the way the car drives. It's comfortable, it doesn't beat you up. It has a lot of good attributes as far as you don't have to, do a bunch of framework, suspension work. I mean, pretty much a suspension, it's dialed in. They did a great job on this chassis, the brakes, and everything on this car is Porsche except the engine. It has an adapter plate which allows the Chevy motor to adapt to the original Porsche transmission, and still has the transaxle. Now I know there are other options as far as like transmission upgrades that I've heard about through Renegade and some other people. I haven't looked into that with this. I just had the transmission rebuilt, which the parts, trying to rebuild these automatic transmissions, man, oh my God, it's very difficult finding the parts and people to work on them. So the next one I build will probably be a manual, but I'm playing with the idea of doing these body kits and maybe looking to partner up with somebody who is just as passionate as me about the 928 and about body kits, and somebody who wants to create a vision for these cars. And like I said, the motor swap thing, I had a 928, a 79, all original, and restored it back to factory, rebuilt the motor, rebuilt it had a clutch, put a new clutch and everything in it. The car was cool, drove great, but I'm kind of at heart, I like American muscle, so I've always visioned a German car with American muscle twist, and that's why the Chevy pops in there. I know the purists are like, oh, keep it German, keep it Porsche, and who knows, I could also build the kit with all Porsche parts. But the thing is, the 928 parts are not as readily available as the 911 parts. They are out there, but just not as much. And most of the 928s, people kind of let them get beat up. They spent money when they bought them, but a lot of the 928s out there are beat up. I mean, people spent great money when they bought them originally, but repairing them, taking them and getting them serviced properly, a lot of people slacked on them. But there are some great examples out there. This is an 82. They made the 928 all the way up till, I believe, 94, 93, 94. I mean, the Porsche 928 it's a beautiful car. They got a GTS version, which is very expensive now. They're really coming up on the market. If you can find one, there's not a bunch of them. I think they only imported a handful in 93, and I'm not sure how many they imported in 94, but I think in 93 there were only 300. But I just love the 928, man. I think it's a great car. The little back seats aren't really for a regular person, but I got a couple Maltipoos, so you know they fit perfectly back there. And this one right here doesn't have the back seats that have speakers, but I'll probably move the speakers and put some seats back there so they can ride. It's a little bit louder than your typical 928. It's got I can't remember what exhaust I have. I think I have either a Borla or a Flowmaster. I can't remember. I think it's a Borla, and it kind of has that Chevy V8 rumble, American Muscle rumble, but the car drives great. The big wheels, people are like, you know, did you have to change the gearing in the rear end? I didn't. That might be something to think about, depending on, you know, if you go, you know, crazier horsepower. The horsepower in this car is probably about 370, so it's not a whole lot. It's more than what it came with, but it's nothing crazy. At 80 miles per hour, I'm at about 2,800 RPMs, so it's not bad. I mean, with the carburetor, fuel mileage, as far as it's not that bad. I mean, I think it's like I spend like 60 something bucks to fill this car up. It's like 16 gallons. Maybe I spent a little bit more. I can't remember, because I just filled it up, but I don't think it was on a totally empty tank. But I added a trans cooler. I got a you know, high flow radiator. I got AC, vintage air, and you know, the thing I would do differently would be to have one shop do all the work and be able to supervise it a little bit better, because I was building this car and then I moved, and when you move, mechanics do weird stuff. They, you know, they cut corners, they you know, sometimes put your car to the side and do rush stuff to kind of get other cars in there, and I'm not mad at it. I mean, I'm not there, so they're like out of sight, out of mind. But having a local mechanic do all the mechanical work so that there's one person responsible, and then on the interior, the same thing. You know, I wasn't able to really go over the interior before I picked the car up. I had to kind of pick it up and go, because living in Arizona, when I go back to Cali, I don't really have a lot of time to play games, so I can't really look at things like how I want to when they're at the house, and I can kind of take my time. So that's another thing when you get ready to do a car, is being able to take your time and look at everything so that you don't pick it up and then realize something's not how you want it, and then you try to take it back. You want to make sure everything's done before you leave the shop. But yeah, I've done a lot of cars. I built, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I built a ton of cars, but I built enough cars to kind of know what to look for now when I'm restoring, and what type of personality to work with. That's very important whenever you pick a mechanic to do work on your car. What's his personality like? Are they really into the car? Or are they, you know, just kind of doing it as a side hobby or just to get a paycheck? And I've dealt with so many shops, and even some of these shops that claim to be, oh, we fix everybody else's problems, it stops here. You know, I went to a shop, and one of the quotes they told me was, you want a car from 1982 to drive like it's you want a car from 1982 to drive like it's 2024. Because it was last year, I think I was dealing with that shop, beginning of last year. They said, yeah. I said, yeah, I want a car from 1982 to drive like it's 2024. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You took my money. And yeah, they took my money, messed the car up, had more issues than, I mean, every time I left the shop, the car overheated. They didn't know what they were doing. And they were working on all these people's cars, and they're charging crazy hourly rates. Literally, the guy wanted to charge me like $8,000 to do the transmission, and I ended up getting the transmission done closer to $5,000, because I had somebody take it out, and I took the transmission to a guy, and then I had the guy put it back in. But yeah, man, just some of these shops are straight shit, man, and it's hard to find people with integrity in the car game, man. A lot of people are just garbage now. It's not like back in the day where people's reputation, they took pride. Now everybody's about the quick dollar, and they're charging more, but the quality has went down. So yeah, Oh, hit me up, man. I love talking about cars. Like I said, there are a bunch of good shops out there. If you look, um, guys who really respect their work, who are not in it for the fast buck. But then, there's a lot of shops. This is what you got to watch out for. Some of the shops out there that are hustling, and they're big name shops, and maybe they might produce a couple good cars, but then they're screwing over a lot of customers too. And what they do is they keep one or two nice cars or trucks in their shop to sell you. So when you come in there, you see those cars, they might have a good guy sticker on it or SEMA or something like that. And so you're thinking, wow, these guys are high powered. But that's just to bait you in. And when you get your car in there, they want a big deposit, and they're gonna use part of that money to finish whatever other car they did. And most likely you're gonna be overcharged. And by the time you get your car, you're gonna be frustrated. You might be a little bit happy, but you might be so pissed off you want to sell it. And I've been there. It's a couple of times. It's like, man, I should just sell something. But this car is such a unique car. It would be a hard sell because it'd take a certain person with an eye for this type of vision to want to buy this car. So either I had to finish it, or I would have just a heavy paperweight in front of my house. So yeah, man, I got the car done. I'm excited. A couple little things I'm gonna do to it. Like I said, redo the hood, get the car repainted. There's a couple like little cosmetic things, but mechanically, I'm not gonna do anything else. If I do decide to go all out, I will build another one and just have this car on the side as the original car that kind of set it off for whatever I decide to do with these body kits and these custom 928s. But yeah, I want to share that story with you guys. I know there's not a lot of Porsche 928 swaps on social media. There's more 911 swaps. I've also had a 911 swap. It's actually a 912, and I like the swaps. I don't mind. I mean, people like, oh, you're bastardizing the car, but to each his own. It's about your own preference, and that's what's so cool about this car culture. But yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you're a Porsche guy, some people are like, I actually, I put this car in one of the Porsche forums, and man, people were talking so much trash, man. Oh, it looks like they had a picture of a fish that was green, that looked like some big mouth, like a catfish, and then somebody else, oh, why'd you do the flares like that? They were hating on the wheels, bad wheel choice. I mean, dude, it was crazy. They were just talking so much. I was laughing. It was funny to me, man, when people talk shit about the car, because it's like, what are you driving, and are you just trying to fit in? You don't want to, are you just trying to be somebody that's just like everybody else, and you're not trying to cause any waves. Me, man, I like to be different. I know that when I go to a car show, I'll never see another car like this, with this color, with these wheels, with this interior. And it's a great conversation piece, and I enjoy driving it. It's my personality, and it's kind of like my vision as an artist. So I paint and stuff too. So this is part of like my artistry coming out in the car form, and it's a form of expression. So you've probably been seeing that bottle back there. I got that car detail spray too. It'll be dropping pretty soon back on the site. Now that I got my cars back, I'll be doing a lot more detailing. So I figure, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my detail spray back out. But yeah, man, make sure you hit that like, subscribe. If you're looking for merch, go to bigherc916.com. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing, and love to hear from you guys as far as your comments, and hopefully catch you at some of these car shows, man, out here in Arizona or even in California. I hope to go to Monterey this year and hit a couple other car shows and network with some people, and hopefully find somebody who's interested maybe in partner up doing these body kits, and we turn it up to another level, man. BigHerc.com to pick up a limited edition GTA poster signed by me for $10, or with your purchase of a Wig Splitter Porsche t-shirt, I'll throw in a free poster signed by me for you.